More Idaho Matters now from the studios of Boise State Public Radio News. I'm Gemma Cadet. In recent months, thousands of federal workers have been laid off, impacting many agencies across the nation, including the U.S. Forest Service and nonprofits like the Selway Bitterroot Frank Church Foundation. For more than a decade, SBFC has worked hand in hand with the Forest Service to provide stewardship to 4 million acres of wilderness. Now, this entails everything from maintaining trails to removing invasive species. Now, without a strong workforce, access to these remote public lands could be in jeopardy. So joining us to talk more about this is Ryan Gelfie. He is Executive Director of the Selway Bitterroot Frank Church Foundation. Ryan, I want to welcome you to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So, like I mentioned in the intro, you are providing stewardship for one of the largest wilderness areas in the lower 48. But can you give us a better idea of what stewardship entails, what this means?
Yeah, for us, it can depend on the year, but in large part, it does often mean trail stewardship. There's over 4,000 miles of trail that provide access to the Selway Bitterroot and the Frank Church River of No Return and some of those surrounding wildlands. And to keep those trails open and usable and really sustainable, it takes an incredible amount of human effort to remove trees and brush and to keep tread on the ground, landslides and rock slides, the list goes on. And so that's what most of our folks are engaged in doing the majority of the time.
How many volunteers or workers does it actually take to accomplish these tasks?
Oh, like in the grand scheme, I've thought a lot about this. So we bring usually a couple hundred volunteers out each year. Some of them are youth, 12 to 18. A lot of them are adults. And then a lot of our folks are more like, paid trail crews made up of leaders and some newer folks. And so they do a lot of the work too. So for us, it's hundreds of people. And if you count all the other groups in the Forest Service, it's in the hundreds of people.
It's my understanding that the U.S. Forest Service isn't currently hiring any seasonal trail staff, which could mean that your nonprofit might be one of the only ones that's going to be able to help maintain trail maintenance as we are going into the spring and summer season. Is that something that your organization is equipped to take on?
Yeah, I mean, it's such a nuanced subject, really. So like we're going to work with 5 different national forests this year, and they're each in a slightly different position. Most of the forests have less folks for trails than they did last year, and I think what's really important for the public to kind of know is like the workforce that is kind of required to maintain this trail infrastructure in the backcountry. It's been diminishing, not just like recently, but really over multi-decade time span. Like one forest back in the 70s might have had 40 or 50 or 60 people on their trail crew. And then like last year, they would have more like 4 or 5. And then there's partner groups like us or Idaho Trails Association and Pulaski Users Group. There's a number of other groups, but the total number is way below what it was many decades ago.
So how could all of this impact public access, in particular to some of the more remote areas of our wilderness here in Idaho? And I ask that because I think for a lot of folks, that's when they're going to maybe see the impact, right? Is when they try to get out on those trails this summer.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that people have already noticed it, right? Like we've already had a lot of trails that were in deferred maintenance kind of a category, right? Like especially in the deeper reaches of the Selway Bitterroot and the Frank Church. It will get worse, I think. It's safe to say, like I think it's kind of a triage game, like try to keep some of the mainline trails going and then maybe some of those secondary or tertiary trails that go off into other parts of the wilderness. Maybe instead of getting to those every 3 years, maybe now it's 5 or 10 or never. Like people will notice if and when they're going out there, and it's not like an overnight thing. They might notice this year, and then it's cumulative, so you notice it over time too.
So why is the work that your organization does, why is it so essential?
Well, so for us, this resource, these trail systems in these wilderness areas are extremely unique and important in places that we want people to be able to experience. And that's what these trails that cross these landscapes allow that opportunity for. And so, for us, we just really want people to be able to have that opportunity. And so without the work, I mean, just to paint a picture, you might see a trail that hasn't been worked in, say, 5 or 10 years. And you might see 1,000 trees down on that trail in a mile, and that doesn't look like a trail anymore. Like to any normal person, they'd go, "What are you talking about? That's not a trail." But it's there, and you can maintain it. But you just start to lose that resource, and over time, it really reduces what the public's able to do out there.
Before I let you go, Ryan, I do want to mention that today is the last day of Idaho Gives, which is one of the
Mhm.
biggest fundraisers of the year for your organization. So, how can people get involved and donate if they're interested in supporting the work that your organization does?
Yeah, so yeah, it is the last day. So I know if you go to our website or if you just Google Selway Bitterroot Frank Church Foundation, Idaho Gives, our page pops right up. We have a nice matching donor this year, so we're working to get to that $10,000 of matching gifts, and I think we're getting pretty close. Um, but yeah, we're grateful to have over 500 people every year donate to SBFC. So that's a big part of what helps us do what we do.
And we should note really quick that since you have a lot of challenges going on, but you also have some really exciting things happening. Can you talk to
Mhm.
us real quick about the Youth Wilderness Program?
Yeah, absolutely. So last year we started a new youth wilderness program aimed at helping to get young people 12 to 18 from Idaho and Montana to be able to both learn stewardship and to experience these wilderness areas firsthand. So this year we've got 10 youth expeditions. They're all 3 to 8 days long, focused on education, helping kids learn how to be in the backcountry, how to camp and cook and live and perform trail stewardship. So we're still taking applications, but we've got a lot of young folks interested, and we visited schools this year throughout the region and have done wilderness lessons for over 1,000 kids. And it's really exciting and something we're going to continue to lean into to help that next generation connect to these places.
Well, thanks so much for taking time to talk with us. We've been speaking with Ryan Gelfie. He's executive director of the Selway Bitterroot Frank Church Foundation, talking about the challenges that many public land stewards are facing right now. I'm Gemma Gaudette, and this is Idaho Matters.